Tansei, I'm Kristen Achkite. Welcome to APTN National News. Thank you for joining us. A man from the Sweetgrass First Nation in Saskatchewan has been arrested in connection with a father and two sons who were shot and killed in Lloydminster last September. On Wednesday, September 11th, just before 6 p.m., Lloydminster RCMP were called to a home in the city for a well-being check. When they arrived, they found three bodies: 66-year-old Brent Peters and his sons, 32-year-old Matthew Peters and 34-year-old Brennan Peters. Last Saturday, January 18th, Alberta RCMP Major Crimes charged 31-year-old Nakota Rain Puyak with 3 counts of second-degree murder. According to media reports, Puyak was serving time on unrelated charges in the Saskatoon Correctional Centre when he was arrested. Puyak made his first court appearance on Monday in Lloydminster. His next court appearance is set for February 20th. Canada is sticking to its promise of increasing border security after U.S. President Donald Trump said his 25% trade tariffs on Canadian goods will kick in on February 1st. The RCMP says they will be patrolling the North Dakota and Manitoba border with a Black Hawk helicopter beginning Sunday. They will be looking for people illegally entering Canada or the U.S. They are also looking for illicit drug trafficking in and out of Canada. The RCMP is warning residents along the border there will be more activity with these patrols, but there is no cause for any public safety concerns. A residential school survivor group in Northern Ontario is expressing relief this week after an initial search of a former residential school grounds is showing no unknown burial sites. But as APTN's Mike McDonald reports, the children of Shingwauk Alumni Association say their work is far from over, as vast areas of the property still need to be searched.
The children of Shingwauk Alumni Association began the process of searching for potential unknown graves on the former Shingwauk Indian Residential School site in Sault Ste. Marie in early 2021. The president of the association, George Diamond, says it's been a long process, from community consultations and archival research to the use of technology, including ground-penetrating radar, to search for anomalies.
It was quite difficult. It was very tiring. It was a long process to do. But we feel that we're very fortunate that we didn't find any unknown burial sites as of now. But we still have quite a bit of work to do in the future. There's still a big area to cover.
The initial search covered the front yard of the former Shingwauk site, which now houses Algoma University. It's been known for some time that a number of children died while attending the Shingwauk school and are buried nearby.
The big issue that we have is we have a cemetery here. And all the children that are buried there are in unmarked graves. So that's an issue that we have to try to deal with. There are 109 known graves. There's 73 children died between 1875 to 1956.
Ground-penetrating radar did initially find some anomalies. However, further investigation determined they were not burial sites. Diamond says there were many partners helping with the search, and the association wants to continue working with them.
I'd like to thank all the workers that did the work, and also working with our partners, such as Algoma University and the First Nations of Batchewana and the First Nations of Garden River. We want to continue that partnership. We want to continue working together on that into the future.
The next phase in the search will begin this summer, followed by another search in the fall, with radar scans being carried out in the area behind Algoma University. Mike McDonald, APTN National News, Sault Ste. Marie.
Survivors of the St. Anne's Residential School near Fort Albany, Ontario, are speaking at the Ontario Superior Court this week to address Canada's attempt to dismiss their fight for accountability. The virtual hearings started Monday morning and will continue through Friday. Since 2013, St. Anne's survivors have been fighting Canada in court to release documents and records related to their experiences at the school. 3 survivors filed a request for direction, arguing that Canada withheld documents that could have impacted compensation through the independent assessment process. Between January 2013 and October 2020, Canada spent $3.2 million fighting St. Anne's survivors in court. Ahead of this week's hearing, Assembly of First Nations National Chief Cindy Woodhouse-Nepanak urged Canada to, quote, address its past failures and work with survivors, not against them. 15 First Nations and the Impact Assessment Agency of Canada will co-lead a regional assessment of Ontario's Ring of Fire area after an agreement was reached on Monday. The 5,000 square kilometer area, rich in mineral deposits, is located 540 kilometers northeast of Thunder Bay. In April of 2023, 10 First Nations in Treaty 9 sued Ontario and Canada over resource extraction in their territories, including in the Ring of Fire. The new agreement establishes a working group with community members from 15 Northern Ontario First Nations and the Impact Assessment Agency of Canada. The group will examine the environmental, health, economic, and social impacts of future development in the area. The completed report will be sent to the chiefs of the participating First Nations and Canada's Minister of Environment and Climate Change. The Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs has 4 candidates who hope to be elected as the organization's next leader. A by-election was called in November after Grand Chief Kathy Merrick died suddenly in September. War Lake Chief Betsy Kennedy was appointed acting Grand Chief following Merrick's death. The deadline for nominations was January 18th. The candidates are former York Factory Chief Leroy Constant, former Peguis Chief Glenn Hudson, former Long Plain Chief Kyra Wilson, and Sapultuayak Band Councillor Bava Dillon. Voting takes place on January 29th. Only chiefs are allowed to vote. The AMC represents 63 First Nations in Manitoba. The chief of the Sturgeon Lake Cree Nation in Alberta sent a letter to Premier Danielle Smith last week denouncing the proposed construction of the world's largest AI data center on its traditional hunting grounds. Chief Sheldon Sunshine says his community has not been consulted by local or provincial governments or anyone from billionaire Kevin O'Leary's company who will own the facility. The proposed AI center has an estimated lifetime cost of $70 billion. It would use natural gas and geothermal energy to provide 7.5 gigawatts of power to the AI data center at full capacity. Chief Sunshine says the site cannot go ahead without their permission. APTN News will have more on this story in the coming days. We have to take a short break, but when we return, we'll tell you about Hockey Indigenous, a support program that is helping to build and support Indigenous hockey players. Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. Hockey Indigenous is an organization focused on inclusion, motivation, and support of young Indigenous hockey players. Here's a look at that feature, which originally aired during our broadcast of Hockey Night in Canada and Cree on APTN this past weekend.
Hockey Indigenous is based out of Timmins, Ontario. It is the original lands of Matagami First Nations with perspective of the Muskego Cree territory. And this river is called the Matagami River. It leads all the way to a Matagami First Nation. It's only about an hour away.
Hockey Indigenous is a non-profit organization using their platform to bring inclusion, motivation, and support to Indigenous peoples.
Okay, so what is our main focus for today?
I think we'll check out the map.
Working tirelessly behind the scenes are creators Stefan Friday and Abigail Linklater.
With the Hockey Indigenous database website, I think it kind of helps because what I noticed that the growth in the last couple of years, there's more women Indigenous players playing in mainstream hockey now.
With a lifelong passion for the game, Stefan noticed something was missing in the hockey community.
Yeah, I felt like there was not enough recognition for Indigenous youth, Indigenous professional players, and I just felt like, okay, maybe this page would become something, to have more recognition.
And it's working. What started as a Facebook page grew a social media following that reaches tens of thousands of people per day.
The more followers this page gets, the more platform that these youth are able to enable.
Hockey holds a special connection for Abigail as well.
Some of my earliest memories are at the arenas, and I remember what that community felt like, and I remember going to hockey every Sunday. Like, I remember going to public skating every Sunday, and although I was going through discrimination at that time, I was younger, I was shorter, people didn't think I was tough enough for hockey. I still followed it, sitting in the living room with my grandfather, my dad, and they were silently watching, so I would just go hang out with them, right? So hockey has a special place in my heart.
And their love for the game is easy to see with the work they do.
So this is a good activity booklet. It has a lot of things from like coloring. So the first 10 pages might be coloring.
A lot of the focus with Hockey Indigenous is on the next generation.
Then you got the maze challenge, so this is pretty fun. So you got a hockey player trying to get into the rink so it's not late for their practice.
There's also a small history lesson on Indigenous hockey trailblazers.
For example, I became the first Inuk player to play in the National Hockey League. Who might that be? None other than Jordan Tutu.
It's also showcasing their achievements and for younger kids to recognize that these achievements have been made before them.
Other Hockey Indigenous resources include ways to incorporate the 7 grandfather teachings in hockey and a comprehensive database of Indigenous hockey players across Canada.
The big part of it is all those parents, all those communities, all those players that message us to give that information. So just want to give a shout out to all the parents out there and all those Indigenous players out there. These kids are able to get what we didn't have when we were younger or when we were teenagers, especially those former professional players. We're just giving back of what we didn't have.
Great job, Hockey Indigenous. We love to see it. Métis Nation Saskatchewan is revamping a program to help families stay connected to their culture. The Lee Buffalo program will introduce Métis culture in an interactive way for families with young children. Here is video journalist Rachel May with that story.
It's for the kids, and that backpack with the Métis symbol, and that a way to identify themselves and be able to connect with other Métis children in their school or their summer camps or places they go that they might not know anyone, I think is really beneficial.
Heather Folds, a mother of 4, has received backpacks from MNS for her children. The backpack program has 2 parts, a back-to-school component and a cultural component called Lee Buffalo for children in preschool to grade 8. Folds believes cultural programs for young children are essential.
And one of the things we talked about how it's healing, that connection with culture to like heal some of that trauma. And so I think about, if I had been dancing younger, or that might have been I would have really enjoyed that.
The Lee Buffalo program ran last year, but focused on providing cultural items to individual children rather than families. Andrea Fiss, Director of Education at MNS, says families can now receive a package twice a year to bring them together.
With those packages, we really want to look at making sure that the family has some cultural items and games and books and things they can do together as a family to just connect with their Métis culture and heritage.
Applications for the upcoming package just opened. Packages will begin shipping in a few months' time. The contents will vary based on the age of children in the household, but through the various games, books, and family activities, there are opportunities for education. One of the aims of the program is to help in the preservation of the Métis language, Michif.
We know that particularly heritage Michif, there's not a lot of speakers, and it is in danger, of losing this language. So making sure that in the cultural packages and in any way we can, we are incorporating the language within those activities, so parents can begin to use some of that language.
MNS Minister of Early Learning and Education, Sherry McLennan, said in a statement, including the important Métis cultural components in the backpacks is a way of instilling pride in our youth. And when our children are excited about their Métis culture, they share it with their non-Métis friends and ensure our culture continues for generations to come. Families with kids in preschool to grade 8 registered with Métis Nation Saskatchewan can call 1-877-METIS-SK for information on all programs offered by MNS, including the Backpack Program. Rachel May, APTN National News, Saskatoon.
Love that water bottle. Cree singer-songwriter Jade Turner is set to release her third studio album in the coming weeks. The new release comes on the heels of a banner year for the roots and country singer who has won numerous awards. Turner, who is our next guest on our Face-to-Face tonight, says she often struggles with the accolades.
I'm very thankful for everything that has happened this past year, but I also have a very hard time being like being the person that's getting the awards. I have a really bad imposter syndrome when it comes to that, but I'm very thankful. And like when I got the call for that, like I said, I was in Churchill, and my mind was literally blown. I was opening up for Tom Cochrane that same night that I got to save the call, and I was like, what is this life? Like seriously, I don't know what happened in January where it was like there was like a switch where everything just like was working out for me, and I was like, what the heck?
Definitely check that out later today. We now want to tell you about this week's web poll question. Over on our website, we ask, should children sing God Save the King in schools? Your answers are, I support it, indifferent, I do not support it, or unsure. Go to aptnnews.ca to have your say. And this question is in relation to Leon Saunders' full story on our website, where she writes about a Manitoba school division that reinstated the singing of God Save the King. Give that article a read while you're there to find out more. Andrew Hunter, a Métis entrepreneur from Saskatoon, will join us next in studio. That interview when we come back in less than 3 minutes. Starting on the east, partly cloudy in Charlottetown with -14, Fredericton, sun and -18. -28 in the Grand River, Anujiwak -21. Quebec City -19, Montreal -13. -13 in Windsor, Sarnia -14. Sunny in Big Trout Lake at -31, Sioux Lookout same temperature -31. Churchill -36, Thompson -23. Winnipeg -25, Brandon -18. Partly cloudy in Regina at -5, Saskatoon -3. Meadow Lake -3, La Ronge -12. -8 in Fort McMurray, 0 high level. Calgary 2, Red Deer 0. Kamloops -3, Penticton 0. -6 in Fort Nelson, Dees Lake -9. -11 in Mayo, Beaver Creek -15. -1 in Wrigley, Norman Wells 0. -18 in Sax Harbor, Colville Lake -6. -24 in Baker Lake, Cambridge Bay -12. And Iqaluit -17, Iqaluit -19. Our next guest is Andrew Hunter, a Métis entrepreneur from Saskatoon who is the owner of Homes by Hunter. For a number of years, he has been taking older homes in Saskatoon, renovating them and flipping them, and offers the homes to lower income families who need a roof over their head. He has also released a book on some of his work and has just entered in a competition with big dreams to expand in his business. Andrew Hunter joins us now from Saskatoon. Andrew Hunter, thank you so much for speaking with us today. Can you tell us what got you interested in renovating and flipping homes?
Great question. Before I start, I'll just introduce myself again. I'm Andrew L.G. Hunter, proud Métis citizen, CEO, and founder of Homes by Hunter, Inc., and the Global Falcons podcast. I'd just like to start by saying I'm coming to you from Saskatoon, Treaty 6 territory, and homeland of my ancestors, the Métis. What got me started with homes was I seen a lot of problems around. At the beginning, it was contractors that were charging too much and giving too little. After that, I've seen a problem within the housing industry, like rental properties, and I've seen that I could really make a difference there. So, yeah.
That's great to hear. And you also recently published a book called My Flipping Life, a story of renovations and generational wealth building. Can you tell us why you wanted to write the book? Give us you can show us the book again.
Yeah, sure. So I was in a car accident a couple of years ago, and it stopped me from, moving as fast as I usually did. So what I wanted to do was create something that people could, one, learn how to start a business from nothing, and two, help the communities by renovating them. There's, like I said, there's an extreme amount of homes that are over 100 years old now that are falling apart that need some love.
Yeah, you're definitely filling a need there.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I try my best.
For sure. And some more good news. You've been selected for a chance to be in Forbes magazine to represent Métis citizens. And if you win that competition, you get a one-on-one mentoring session with Shark Tank's Damon John. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
That's correct. Yeah, Damon John is a great entrepreneur all the way around, and getting a little bit or a lot of information from him would be just catalytic for myself and my business. So the Entrepreneur of Impact competition is put on by Colossal as well, and Colossal works hand in hand with Gen Youth, and Gen Youth has done over $100 million in give-backs to the community, such as the Entrepreneur of Impact, and over 6.2 billion meals to kids at schools.
I understand we're only a few days away until that competition wraps up, and I think you're vying for votes right now, hey?
Yeah, I'm looking out for votes right now. So everybody gets a free vote every day. Every 24 hours, you're allowed a free vote. So anyone and everyone is welcome to go onto my social media platform, and I'm sure there'll be a link to that, and you can vote for me there as Entrepreneur of Impact 2025.
Great to hear. And finally, Andrew, what are some tips you can share with young Indigenous entrepreneurs out there who want to start their business?
Yeah, that's great. And I want to see more of that too. So there's two things that are very important and also very easy that they can do. All you need really is $50 and a great idea, something that helps the community. The $50 would be for a GST number to get you started. If you're more ambitious than that, you can contact me, and I can get you in touch with my wife, who's a corporate lawyer, and she can set you up with a corporate business. And you'll need a corporate business as an Indigenous person to get more grants and more accessibility that will help your business.
Those are some great words of advice there, Andrew. That's Andrew Hunter. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you for your time, and keep us updated if you win that competition.
I will do that, Christian, and great to see you again.
And that's your daytime newscast for this Tuesday, January 21st. Dennis Ward is back for your evening newscast. Make sure to join us then. From all of us at APTN National News, miigwech, masicho, kwana, hi hi. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next day.